I took this position to trade an overcrowded island for a quiet one, for a peaceful life, before life went and said bollocks to that. There was something pure ironic about the move too. You know, my kind weren't popular in these parts 300 years ago. Witches, not Scotswomen. It's occult suffrage in action. And yet, that tension never really goes away, does it? It's always out there, always ticking down to totally batshit nuclear. I'm an idealist. I think we're supposed to be the way we are to protect people, to protect them from all this. So, they're right to fear us. We stick our fingers where they don't belong, then wiggle them around a bit anyway. Palm responsibility off and the need to know the unknowable. That's not learning. That's, I don't know. Playing chicken with the infinite. These parts have gotten pretty lively since everyone died. Not quite a rescue, more of an investigation, eh? You and all the others. Personally, I think the whole team colours thing is pure pish. So I hope we won't have to start fighting like we were in a scene from the bloody Matrix. My family are Templars, proper old Templars. The House of Usher, eh? That's hilarious. They didn't disown me when I said I wanted nothing to do with anyone's army. Posturing and scheming. My cabal is bigger than your cabal. That's worked out right well for us so far, hasn't it? I didn't come here for the Illuminati. I came here for the kids, and that's why I'm staying. For the ones who come back, for the ones who won't. For Carter, who's brushing up to be one of the most powerful mages on the Atlantic seaboard, but just wants to be a girl. 1 out of 2's fraught enough. Despite his eccentricities and cynical, he'll appreciate the honesty, downright unpleasant personality, Mr. Montag, HJ, does more for the safety and development of his students than he lets on. It's not an easy thing bringing these kids into a world fraught with occult rites and secret handshakes. It takes a real bastard even on the best of days. The competition for the most talented students, the petty jealousies and the ancient blood feuds between the most prominent institutions, and the more and less covert attempts at industrial espionage all take their toll. And of course, the deaths. Being responsible for every single life lost in the pursuit of knowledge would break less than an arrogant man. At least he lets us deal with the parents now. After those first couple of accidental self-immolations, some thought it best we kept him away from grieving relatives. I give them a lot of jip, but the Templars were ahead of the curve in pushing for a proper magical education. Oxford, Uttar Pradesh, Cairo, etc. Of course, their reasoning was a bag of shite. It's got bugger all to do with entitlement and everything about sorting out your place in the world. For what it's worth, I'm truly sorry you've been dropped in at the deep end. I couldn't tell you what happens next, for the world and your place in it. Here, they'll mop up the blood, file the Act of God insurance claims, rote learn their alibis. They'll cover it up. They always do. Flick through the Guinness Book of Disasters and you'll have a hard time finding something we didn't start. But this goes further than the island. You know how, female roommates period synchronize? That's how it goes with my talents and the planet. And we've both been waking up like we've had the mankiest post-piss-up fish supper ever, every day.
A fringe benefit of my talents is a heightened sensitivity to the natural world, particularly when the unnatural puts the boot in. When the trouble started, Some of the staff made a break for the river. Trained magi who could take care of themselves. But something was waiting for them. Nothing natural. It's still out there. Carter and I have had the same dream, and it's a doozy. The harvest at Henderson's farm, swollen and churning with lava and disease. Like those dead, traumatizing time-lapse documentaries.
Ah, Archibald Henderson's murderous legacy. It is another weft in the fascinatingly grim weave of Solomon Island history.
There is a lot of seriously bad shite emitted from my copy of the school prospectus. A fringe benefit of my talents is a heightened sense...
Initially. During his life. He was a magus, but at heart a simple farmer. Likely barely able to comprehend, let alone control, his messy undoing.
I come from an agricultural family.
Yeah, my parents grow sunflowers.
I sense this situation is... socially awkward.
Ach no, not more than usual, to be fair.
School is out.
Local bounty detected. Initiating.
No handshakes, please. Body temperature makes my skin crawl.
What news from the colonies?
So, how's your super story going so far? Swallowed a bee, wrecked your place. I know how that one starts. They say we're gifted. I don't want to come across like a spoiled brat, but gee, some gift. Scared off my friends, my family, any chance for a normal life. I even creeped out the other students here at, Hogwarts. I can't blame them. Sometimes when I dream, it gives my roommates nosebleeds. That doesn't really make me BFF material. Have you had the dreams yet? Of the world suspended in a cold, cold darkness? Of voices worse than anything you ever heard on MTV? Even in the reality shows? Of elder things. No? You will. Not to get all emo Alan Poe about it, but you will. It comes with the powers. It's important, Mr. Montaud says. Enjoy the ones about swimming or flying or absent friends while you can. I wish I could say this isn't how I plan my Sweet 16, but really, I haven't known any other life. They took me in here when I was 12. The youngest enrollment since, ever. My parents didn't want to let me go, but what else could they do? Pay off another trashed house, an interstate move? They still apologize in every letter from home. Here, the teacher straight up told me I had a great responsibility for the way the world would be. Heavy, right? That's like graduation speech stuff. And I got hit with it before puberty. So I pretty much became the outcast loner chick with a dark secret. Just like in Danny's comics. Danny's sweet and kind, and more worried if I like his corny 80s movies than whether my powers are gonna fry us both. It's pretty cool. To not be judged by a normal person. That is, mostly normal. I think there's something in the water in Kingsmouth. You want to hear something weird? Sure you do, you're just getting warmed up. I haven't even told Miss Usher this yet, but around the time things started going wrong, I started seeing people. Other kids. I think other kids like me, with powers like me. It's the least crazy reason I can come up with to explain it. There's a girl, a few years younger than me, who lives with her mom and dad and watches the snow come in from big mountains. Maybe Alaska? My geography's not so great. And a boy. He's tiny, but way smarter than he should be. He solves algebra when he's nervous. He's at a school in some suburbs, with kids in yellow raincoats and, little sailor suits. I don't know what it means. Maybe I'm just inventing special friends for when the real ones let me down. But it seemed so real. The colors and the light. And I hope nothing's happened to them. Nothing like what happened here. Miss Usher has done her best to prepare me for the future. She warned me that there'll be people who will try to exploit my gifts. Like having this strangers with candy talk, but with magic. I know this academy is owned by the Illuminati, and they don't give anything out for free. They'll want something in return for my education, right? Giving back to secret society. And I've already been offered a full scholarship at Oxford. The magical Oxford. That's the Templars. I knew by the look on Miss Usher's face. And I got a weird note with some Chinese signs on it. At least it looked like Chinese to me. See, I don't want to use my gifts for anything. All I want is to learn how to control them, so I don't have to use them. If that makes any sense. Hey, can I talk to you? Chosen one to, chosen one, about a big problem. Obviously not as big a problem as all the other big problems you guys are dealing with outside those walls. But still, help? Okay, so the practical alchemy class keeps racks of replacement familiars hung up in the basement. At least a dozen for every student. It's called practical alchemy for a reason. It's not as gross as it sounds. Okay, it pretty much is as gross as it sounds. Now they're waking up. A whole army of creepy dolls right under our feet. Miss Usher and Mr. Montague want me on the bench for this game, and I know it's to keep their star player from getting injured mid-season. But it feels more like being in the penalty box. I want to step up to bat. I want to help out. I can use my powers. The really freaky ones. You know, they warded the school from the inside because of me. I'm tired of being scared of it, being made sick by it. Maybe that's how my powers want to be used. For me to just say the words and tear it all down. Look, if I set it off, I kinda need someone to make sure I can stop again. Like a chaperone. It's not quite the Halloween prom, but, well, that's where this all started. Worst prom night ever.
Good luck out there. You'll need it.
No handshakes, please. Body temperature.
Quick access inventory updated.
Please, no running in the halls. They are quiet.
Quick access inventory updated.
Don't worry. I'm tougher than I look. Things are about to get kinda gross. Just so you know, things are... The whispering stopped. My nosebleed too. We better get back. Let's make this our secret. Deal?
Yes? Do you read? It is a fading art. In this modern world, offer an occultist an irreplaceable manuscript, and they will claim they are waiting for the movie. All the scholarly aspect has gone out of forbidden knowledge. The studiousness, the drive. And yet, in the end, even the written word could not sustain my mind. I had plumbed the depths of ancient texts, scaled the heights of correspondence with the great minds of our age, and understanding had reached an awful stalemate with me. Then epiphany struck. Epiphany and acquittal on all counts of manslaughter. Children. I put to you that children are the perfect transmitters of knowledge, the perfect receivers, vessels of malleable power and bottomless potential. In hindsight, my initial attempts at teaching were crude. There were restraining orders, other pesky legalities regarding abduction of minors. That is why the Illuminati brought me here, to those awaiting valuable lessons towards their future enlightened success. You should be aware of the urgency with which we nurture our young talents. The eldest oral traditions describe recorded history as the fourth great age of mankind, an age that is closing. I could not hazard a guess if another age will follow. As a pentaphobic, I would like no part of it. But the children of today will guide the transference of tomorrow. Across the world, prodigies are manifesting powers earlier and stronger than ever before. Carter was psychokinetic at birth. Her parents quickly learned to avoid metal nursery furniture. Exposure to the island and its checkered magical history has only amplified her abilities. From the age of 12, she could shift laboratory animals into other dimensions. I intended to work with her on protecting them from explosive decompression at the point of return, but those lessons have been on hiatus since a regrettable zoo outing last year. Perhaps I appear blasé to the human tragedy that surrounds us. I am, largely. I believe one should focus on their strong subjects. Empathy was never truly one of mine. Thusly, I must protect the Academy and its occupants the only way I can appreciate. Analytically. Analytically, I predicted an event like this sooner. This was never a simple fishing community. Well suited to the illuminated order's love of ciphers and symbology, the island is a triangle. A meeting of three lines of power: the ambition of mortal magic, the hunger of the hell dimensions, and something beyond the scope of understanding. An old and deep power, older than eons. Most sources choose not to name it, lest in the naming it gains strength. You are aware that members of some cultures fear a photograph can steal their soul? They are, of course, correct. Well, to record this power is to take the first faltering step towards succumbing to it. Utterly. In my life, I have always striven to maintain a clear delineation between obsession and madness. Our hidden world is a sequence of disastrous events, all connected, echoing back to creation and forward until the death rattle of the universe. It is unfortunate, for academic purposes, that those with the time and means to draw these connections are invariably rendered insane. Having once explored the troubled minds of patients at McLean, Danvers, Arkham, I advise you against questioning the living for explanation. Look to the dead. Their knowledge is no longer compromised by horror or shame. They are a library, a morbid encyclopedia of the acts that brought us here, to our modern world, and to humanity's place in it. A halfway house on the evolutionary scale between Neanderthals and something quite different, quite terrible. Something changed. Not like you were changing. Probably not. But try a little background reading with the dead. They will not lie to you. Unless they see an escape from torment or enslavement in it, I suppose. You may wonder why the Illuminati invested in an open institution like the Academy. It is a mirror to their brotherhood, exclusive but not elitist. I was self-taught when they first came to me as a young offender and ushered me firmly behind the curtain of secrecy. They are patrons of enlightenment. They appreciate that forbidden knowledge is a contradiction in terms. What is recorded is meant to be known. Those who call them uncultured are clearly unaware that in lost Alexandria, Illuminati ordered their servants to transcribe even while they burned alive. The Illuminati are business people who saw an opportunity and moved to fill it. For too long, we have clambered, wheezing up the spiral staircase to an era where nothing is true and everything is permitted. They have installed escalators so all might carpe diem, carpe annum, carpe eon. Carpe out of the hands of stuffy curators without ambition.
At least the war golem's still in formaldehyde.
Huh. It's funny you should mention that.
Funny, comical, or funny peculiar?
I don't really understand the phrase. I was auditioning it for future personable conversation.
Mixed success, then.
We have all seen the reanimated corpses of recently deceased staff, felt pathos at those once great minds leaking from vacant orbits.
I think I'm gonna be sick.
I have also witnessed professors of an older vintage making their agonizing way through the halls. Historically, many faculty members were convinced to donate their mortal remains to the Academy ahead of their untimely deaths, for the betterment of knowledge. I believe their knowledge is now being perverted by some vandalous hand, one that plays them like fleshy puppets to access areas most forbidden. We possess an Illuminati war golem from the 1600s, purely for reference purposes. The school records of its last activation make for gruesome, albeit entertaining, reading. Such an activation would require a full faculty meeting.
So this could get worse before it gets better?
Oh, no. I shouldn't think it would get better.
Happy Halloween, aye.
Visual tracking initiated. Visual tracking initiated.
Yes? To teach the gifted is the highest form of our sciences and arts. Believe me, I have made exhaustive studies of them all. Necromancy is a dog and pony show. Demonology? Please, leave bargaining with the hell dimensions to the chancers and masochists. Galimetry is brutish puppet work and recollects my days of medical practice. They were curtailed. But my humanistic focus was not shared by the founders of this grand institution, this great experiment. It has been said that there is a skeleton in every closet here at Innsmouth. That is simply not true. They were laid into the very foundation walls. The basement might bleed if you chipped beneath the plaster.
That's a figure of speech, right?
I'm sorry, Carter.
Oh my God, have you ever heard of a white lie?
The architecture was exacting. A pattern, a focus, a tomb, a battery. Stockpiling anima from many sources, not entirely willing sources. It would be politic to close the breaches before they emerge.
The first time you get bricked in's probably the worst time, eh?
From my research, it seems each time begins a claustrophobic eternity anew.
You're like the world's revenge on sarcasm. Do you know that? Happy Halloween, aye.
Promoted. Faction rank increased. Congratulations, Arbiter.
Excellent work. Never forget that this is a show of arms, and the onus is on us to be the iron fist in the iron glove.
Did you come for the library amnesty? Regrettably, our alumni schedule for the semester has been heavily impacted by the massacre. Slaughter is a crutch, an unfortunate crutch. I presided as Innsmouth's headmaster over a run of good form for 15 years. Naturally, there have been the usual accidents, maimings, well within accountable risks. As I would tell parents before I was retired from the Reparation Committee, you cannot vivisect a ghoul without breaking a few legs.
Ah, he's paraphrasing. Work with me here, HJ. Moving right along.
The wards of this school, hundreds of years old, are violated. It is unthinkable, but we handle the unthinkable every day. Now things are slipping through, both ways. I'm not sure which is worse for the general health of the island. A thorough investigation will follow as soon as we have appointed new staff and dissolved their predecessors' corpses. Yes, the immediate concern is that the wards must hold. The devices are hungry, rapacious for anima.
Great. We'll have a sacrificial donation drive. Or a bake sale.
Delightful.
Quick access inventory updated.
School is out.
Quick access inventory updated. Quick access inventory updated. Quick access inventory updated. inventory updated. Quick access inventory updated.
A wraith? That's improbable. They cannot manifest far from their wretched corpse. Only the Yazidi knew how to... Oh, the Yazidi. As a bookish child, I accidentally intoned a death curse that claimed my mother, our neighbors, and a passing couple in the street, though it spared their small russet dog. I was young and needed the knowledge. Carter, this is why I saw something of myself in you. A great and terrible power to be shaped with the care I never had.
That's not really encouraging, sir.
I assure you that your magic has almost certainly not caused any immediately fatal injuries. This loose end has become a hangman's noose. Exorcising the wraith calls for a ritual sacrifice. My ritual sacrifice.
No way.
No bloody way.
In fact, it is the only way. In the realm of the Peacock King, blood calls for blood. Such is the price of foolish magic. I should like that for my epitaph.
This isn't going to happen, HJ. Obviously, I defer to your massive brain on most matters of the occult, but the only object lesson happening today is you learning about compromise.
That sounds painful.
Less painful than making a pentacle from your entrails.
You remembered the very book of curses. Truly a model student.
Keep fighting the good fight, or whatever you believe you're doing.
Quick access
this is
inventory updated.
Now we are acquainted.
Quick access inventory updated.
Hello?